Before starting any review session, I believe it's a good idea to review the learning outcomes that were stated at the beginning of a course. For health in the school environment, students should be able to do the following by the end of the term. 1. Identify the nutritional needs of individuals from early childhood through higher education. 2. Analyze childhood health issues that are related to nutrition and physical activity needs. 3. Describe the health and nutrition standards required to teach health education in primary and secondary schools. 4. Identify and analyze school-based strategies to improve school health environments. And 5. Examine school-based health policies and standards and determine how they can be applied in the classroom by designing a nutrition education lesson. Now, you might find it helpful to go back through the course and identify the sources that support each of these 5 learning outcomes. I think this can prove to be a really helpful activity as you prepare for your final. Based on the readings, resources, and activities of focus this semester, what do you think are the 5 to 6 big ideas that really stood out in this course? I'd like for you to press pause and take a moment to write down your answers. On the final exam, you'll be asked to synthesize ideas from weeks 1 through 7. As you think about the key concepts that were covered each week, think about how they relate to one another. How does one idea influence or impact another? Now that you've had a chance to think through the big ideas, here are some of the key concepts from my perspective. Week 1 was really all about health in the school environment. What are the health and nutrient needs of students, think preschool through college, and what role does the school play in health and nutrition education? Week 2 covered health and academic performance. What are the connections between health and academic performance? You'll also find that there's a really strong focus, particularly for the final, on the resources for this week. The 2 articles that I might recommend focusing on are Healthier Students Are Better Learners, a missing link in school reforms to close the achievement gap, and the cognitive implications of obesity and nutrition in childhood. Weeks 3 to 4, the role of health policies is our big overarching idea. Can you provide examples of school health policies at the local, state, and national or federal levels? What efforts went into getting these policies adopted? What are some of the key elements of a strategic plan? Remember that a strategic plan is essentially a written proposal to help get a policy adopted. What did you learn about the Common Core and health and nutrition education standards in your state? What are the components of the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act? How does this act impact health in the school environment? In weeks 5 to 6, the role of programs is what stood out. What are some program examples at the local, state, and national or federal levels that support school health? How would you describe the relationship between policies and programs? And what are the steps required in developing a program? Now think big picture here. How would you gain support for new programs? What strategies would you use? What research or background info would help to tell your story and best support your rationale? In weeks 7 and 8, this was really about pulling everything together and going back to think about the ecological framework and student health. So what are some examples of social determinants of health? How might these examples fit into the ecological framework? And finally, how might the ecological framework influence student health, or what is the relationship between the ecological model and student health? So guys, this about wraps it up. As you go through and think about the key points that we discussed here from between weeks 1 through 7 or 1 through 8, I want you to go back and answer the questions that I've posed here in this presentation. And I think as you begin to think through the answers and even write them down, go back to review the resources, you'll find that this will really help you to get a strong handle on the knowledge that's needed to help you do really well on the final exam. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. Always happy to talk, and hope you have a great day. Thanks.